Hello everyone. So today we'll be talking about baroreceptor reflex, which is very important reflex to manage the BP in our daily life. So that's why it comes under short-term BP regulation, baroreceptor reflex. First of all, to understand baroreceptor reflex, we should know the location of baroreceptors. So they are situated in when carotid artery bifurcate into two internal and external, there is dilated part which is called carotid sinus, from where ninth cranial nerve originates, right? That is glossopharyngeal nerve. And arch of aorta where 10th vagus nerve originates, right? So these two areas have baroreceptors. Now, as name shows, baroreceptors. So they are pressure sensors. Baro mean pressure, receptors, right? So they are normally pressure sensors. But in reality, they are not pressure sensors, they are sensors. So let's see how they sense the signal. So they are basically mechanoreceptors. So we'll see how basically increase in BP is leading to the nerve stimulation, right? So this part is lumen here. Okay, present. So this is the lumen of carotid sinus. Okay, so whenever there is BP increase, okay, so there will be more blood in the sinuses, which is going to stretch the vessels, and this stretch is basically stretching the channels, leads to opening of channel. So cationic influx. This cationic influx, it basically changes the membrane potential toward positive state, that is called depolarization. Okay, so this depolarization of terminal is basically moving the membrane potential toward positive state. So as it reaches the threshold value, it open up the voltage gated channels. Fine. That's how basically in every action potential, the membrane is going toward positive state, and as it reaches the threshold value, there is action potential, right? So the action potential is because of these voltage gated sodium or calcium channels, which lead to large number of cationic influx. Hence the membrane potential is suddenly going toward more positive state, that is action potential. Okay, so summarizing these events, the vascular distension leads to deformation of channel or stretching of the stretch sensitive channel, lead to depolarization of nerve terminal, which lead to action potential in nerve, and hence the firing of nerve. That's how signal is transmitted to some center. Let's see now reflex. So baroreceptor reflex. For any reflex, first of all, it's involuntary response to any stimulus. Here the stimulus is BP. Okay, BP change. As we know that reflex have some components: receptor, afferent, some coordinating center, efferent and effector. Okay, so let's see the same component here. Here receptors are obviously the baroreceptors in carotid sinus and arch of aorta. They carry the signal to nucleus tractus solitarius in medulla via 9th and 10th cranial nerve, right? So now what this NTS is going to do, there are some neurons, glutaminergic neurons, on two areas, CVLM and RVLM. Okay, so if there is high BP, it's going to stimulate NTS, and NTS is going to stimulate vagus nerve. This is vagal motor nucleus, and this is going to stimulate CVLM, which is the cardiovagal center, which is going to inhibit RVLM, which is vasomotor center. Basically, when there is high BP, it's going to stimulate vagus so that the heart rate can be decreased, and it's going to inhibit sympathetic so that the vasoconstriction can be inhibited and we can manage the BP, right? If you see this area in a zoomed view so that we can see the dynamics, how basically neurotransmitter playing role. So basically in our CNS, the glutaminergic fiber are basically excitatory transmitter. What that mean? If a nerve is exciting other, that is glutaminergic. If it's inhibiting some area, that is GABAergic. Okay, so NTS have glutaminergic fiber on CVLM, which have GABAergic fiber on RVLM. So it's inhibiting sympathetic nucleus, right? Whenever we have high BP. Otherwise, if this inhibition is removed, then sympathetic efferents is going to increase heart rate and increase BP. Okay, so this is all about reflex. Now these areas, if the RVLM is stimulated, it's going to stimulate SA node, increase heart rate, vasoconstriction, and via adrenal medulla some secretion of catecholamine, right? So that's how the baroreceptor work. Let us see the same in flow chart. So increased BP lead to stimulation of baroreceptors via 9th 10th cranial nerve. The signal is transmitted to medulla NTS. NTS is going to stimulate CVLM, enhance the vagus, okay, which decrease heart rate and inhibit sympathetic, so decrease BP. Okay, on the other side it is basically inhibiting RVLM, right, which basically, so if we have decreased BP here, okay, so this part is inhibited, so RVLM will be stimulated if the scenario is vice versa. So that will be increase heart rate. Let's see how. So if increase BP, we have seen this scenario that increase BP means there is vagal stimulation, fine, which decrease heart rate and BP. If the scenario is different, there is decreased BP. So ultimately this component, parasympathetic component, is inhibited and sympathetic component is increased. So ultimately increased resistance and increased heart rate is the ultimate outcome. So that's how baroreceptor work. Now why we are reading this, what can be a implication of this reflex is, first of all, we know Mary's law. Because of baroreceptor reflex, if BP is high, then it's going to decrease heart rate. This is Mary's law, right? And we know that if the baroreceptor reflex is not working, those clients, they present with orthostatic hypotension, means there is fall in BP on standing or on postural change. That is also called postural hypotension, right? And obviously the implication is this is very important short-term BP regulation in day-to-day activity since morning to evening, which is playing role for BP regulation. Fine. So that's all about baroreceptor reflex. So much. Thank you so much.